I am Nick Shell, a certified Enneagram coach. This series is exploring this book, Take Care of Your Type, an Enneagram Guide to Self-Care by Christina Wilcox. On my own accord, this past weekend, I dropped about $20 at the bookstore. Yes, an actual bookstore. I didn't download it. An actual book. I found this book. I bought it. I read it within a few days. I took lots of notes, and that's what this series is about. Sharing with you what I, a certified Enneagram coach, learned from this book, because there's always something new to learn about Enneagram. I love talking about it, I love learning about it, and I love sharing information. So if you would like to buy this book, Amazon link right there. If you want to find out what your Enneagram type is, click the link right there. It takes you to Cloverleaf. And speaking of Cloverleaf, if you want to become certified like I am, you can also do that through the link right there. Now, let's get to it. We're going to check out number 4s. This is another number where I don't necessarily have a 4 in my life. I mean, I have some friends that are 4s, but as far as being daily exposed to 4s, not so much. I understand. Now, I would tell you, I can, out of all 9 types on the Enneagram, I think it's easiest to spot a 4, because a lot of times they're wearing something to make them stand out. So it's a lot easier for me to see a 4 and recognize them more so than, say, a 1. Let's get to it. Here's the notes. For some reason, I took more notes on a 4 than any other of the Enneagrams. I don't know why that is. Well, I guess it means I learned more about 4s than any other type. I didn't know that I was lacking information, but let's find out what I learned. Here we go. 4s, not seeking consistency and stability like others, which is interesting. For me, an 8, I'm always craving control. My wife is a 6. She's always craving stability. So when I saw this, not seeking consistency and stability like others, like, yeah, that is pretty weird. That's pretty weird. So it says, unrealistic expectations of their life compared to their own fantasies. It says they are the daydreamers. It says they are overcoming menial tasks is crucial to their mental health. So it specifically talked about, like for me, doing the dishes. I hate doing the dishes, but when it's time to do dishes, I get them done. I turn up some loud, annoying music, play it real loud, get the dishes done. I don't have to think about it. You know, my wife every morning, she makes our bed. Now, that's what kind of people we are. I guess we're a high-strung couple. That's not a bad thing. It means we're very productive, I guess, in everything we do. But we would never let dishes go undone but a 4, it's hard for them to do stuff like that. It's hard for them to do those menial tasks. However, that's growth for them. It says, yeah, less likely to do chores, kitchen sink, and bed unmade. It says cleaning gives your brain more space to think. So I can see how that's growth for 4s. It says 4s often measure others' worth on originality too, which I think is interesting. That the things that you value often is what you judge others in. So if you're thinking, well, that's so cliche, that's so trendy, that's what everybody else is doing. Imagine if you actually looked down on a person or lost out on a friendship just because they weren't original enough like you. That's pretty interesting. It says for 4s, comparison is detrimental and social media doesn't help. So that's interesting because that comes across, when I read that, as someone who's insecure, comparing themselves to other people. But it says 4s can actually do that too, even though they're wanting to stand out. So that's, maybe they think, oh, well, that person's special and that person's special. I need to be more special. Maybe it's something like that. It says 4s often get stuck in complacency, inaction, and thinking about themselves. It says they can limit themselves by only being unique. And it says that's part of the growth for 4s, is to realize, hey, you're more than just being unique. You can be good at all of these other things too, and maybe people will value more for that than trying to be unique or special all the time. That's interesting, right? It says to a 4, so what else are you besides unique? That's part of your growth. Being understood is boring. Being misunderstood is their consistency and stability. So maybe that's why they don't crave stability and consistency like the other numbers, because as long as they stand out and they're not quite understood, they're mysterious, well, that's what makes them feel stable. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned about 4s from this book. It says 4s are often hungry, sleepy, or tired. I mean, they can go so wrapped up in their own minds about what's going on that they'll forget to eat or sleep. That's interesting. It says 4s own your creations, don't let them own you. 4s want to create meaning and purpose in everything. 4s are looking for light, magic, hope, and beauty. That's well said. They want to gain respect by sharing with you a snapshot of their life. And so it's for them, when you have a 4 in your life, it's good to send them a little message. Hey, I thought of you when I saw this. Have you seen the movie Elizabethtown? In that movie, the main character, she's always like doing this. She's wanting to capture those moments in her mind. To me, she's clearly a 4. So that's a prime example. Time's up. Tell me about it. You're a 4. Tell me what you learned. I want to learn about you. Comments right there. Also, the link to buy this book.